Good evening, everyone, and welcome to tonight, Tuesday, July 7th, Seabrook City Council regular meeting. It is 6 p.m. I'm calling the meeting to order. If you please rise for the pledge.
United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible. Thank you. Please be seated. All right, we have a quorum. Item 1, boards and commissions. Item 1.1, consider and take all appropriate action on the selection of 5 members to serve on the Capital Improvements Advisory Committee. Just for everybody's information, this is a new state mandated committee. We have not had this before, and it does have a membership requirement. I think it's 3 members from the real estate development construction field and 2 citizen members. The 2 council members who were interviewers were Angela and Jared. And do you guys have a presentation?
Want me to do it? So recently, Councilwoman Cervantes and I met with the candidates, and our recommendation, first, we wanted to, rather than do individual votes, we were just going to, if council is agree with it, to do a one vote for everyone, and then also have a little bit of discussion on moving forward as well. So we were going to nominate Sherry Smith, Josh Perella, Rob Hefner, and Walter Hammond for the inclusion of the committee. So that would be the motion.
And then to add on to that, we had nominated Mr. Wayne Rutledge. He did unfortunately pull out. So what we would like to do is reopen that application and redo those interviews as they had done previously with EDC.
So, okay, so understood. The council or the committee requires 5 members. We have 4 that are recommended, and we had 2 additional members that are apparently not in the recommendation. So I guess in my mind, we have 2 choices. One is to accept this slate and, as was suggested, move to another round of applications, or if somebody wants to suggest something else. David, do you have a?
Well, remember, this is just purely advisory, so y'all obviously can appoint anybody you want to fill that board as a council.
Okay.
Without them applying?
With or without.
Interesting.
Establish the rules, so when it comes to the application process.
Is there a deadline to that process, or?
No, y'all are
It's
creating
self-imposed deadline.
creating these rules, so you create the rules that make sense for you.
So it is still mine and Jared's recommendation to reopen those interviews.
Just be mindful of too many green lights driving the folks crazy.
Yeah, so I think like after doing the interview process and talking to the candidates, one, I just want to thank everyone that applied for taking the time to wanting to serve on the panel or the committee for Seabrook. And I think like right now, like we would, after discussing this with Councilwoman Cervantes, to move forward with the 4, and then leave that 1 spot open, and then open up the process again to try to get a couple of more people, then do some more interviews. Does that make sense?
Go ahead. I mean, that's fine, and you are a council member too, so I thought you had made that a motion the first time. I didn't hear a second, but there is a motion on the floor.
I second that.
Okay, we have any further discussion? Summer, you started to hit your button.
No, I'm still thinking.
I have a question. So we have the 3 real estate developer people, and then the next 2 are open. What's the open position? Is that a real estate developer or just
Could be
anybody at large?
citizen, whether or not they're a real estate developer or just not.
Anybody at large?
Right, so obviously this is an engineering-based committee that an engineer is going to come forward with some recommendations based on an audit that we're going to vote on having done for the impact fees. And so it's a little bit of a technical committee in my mind. So I think we want somebody who's a developer, somebody who's a commercial realtor, somebody who's maybe a commercial builder would be helpful.
So the current recommendation already satisfies that requirement? Among those candidates, we've satisfied that, so the additional one could have any background?
That's correct.
Resident, okay.
I totally understand what you're saying, but I see no reason to draw this out for another 10 days for one more candidate. So I'd like to amend the motion to add Gary Johnson to the list.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second for an amendment. We have any discussion about that? Okay, we'll take a vote. All in favor of that, of amending the original motion? 1, 2, 3.
So I have
We're currently-
discussion.
We have closed discussion. We're taking a vote. So the vote is not on the vote is adding Gary Johnson to the group, and then we'll take another vote on that question, just to be clear.
I have discussion.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, so Jared and I put a lot of thought, a lot of discussion, and consideration. We interviewed all candidates, and there were reasons why we chose the candidates that we selected and why we did not select the candidates that we did not select. So I disagree with council discrediting in a way the suggestion or recommendation that Jared and I, who were nominated by council and tasked with that responsibility, the decision that we suggested.
Understood. This is a recommending committee, so council has the right to override that decision or to make an additional amendment. So would you like to tell us why you made the decision?
Sure. So the reason that we made the decision that we made is because Mr. Johnson currently does have projects in Seabrook that stand to gain from the impact fees. And JP also, in his interview, there were questions that stood along those same lines. So by agreement, Jared and I decided that it would be more appropriate, just to keep conflict of interest at bay, that we open the interview panel up to people that have less potential.
I have a question. So I thought that this committee was to look at stuff pertaining to wastewater and water fees and projects only, correct?
Yes.
Then how would Mr. Johnson have an advantage for a water project, wastewater project?
Because those impact fees are determined by development. So as a developer with current residential development.
But they only look at the projects for
I'm sorry,
wastewater.
I was still speaking.
Sorry.
Yeah, so the wastewater is determined based on the size and scope of projects. So one of the questions that was posed to Mr. Johnson was regarding those fees, and his suggestion was larger scale projects should have lesser impact fees.
But the projects would have already been approved before, the projects will be approved before they get to that committee to determine the funding and to ensure that the funding is going to be used properly. So I don't see the correlation between approving projects that may or may not get done and how the money is being spent that has already been received from the projects.
It's set fees that are determined or advised on by this committee. And so as a developer,
They don't
Mr.
determine the
Johnson, can you please let me finish? Thank you. As a developer, Mr. Johnson stands to gain from lowered impact fees.
Okay, so, I mean, but if you say that, then any developer would stand to gain from lower impact fees, right?
Well, developers that are currently working on or have projects to be done in the city.
This is a question that I don't know the answer to. The impact fees are basically the size of the water meter, kind of, right? That determines the size of the impact fees. Have those already been established for I don't know the answer to that question for this, or is that done, after the fact when the water meters are put in?
That's correct. So impact fees are established based on the size of meters. And so the wastewater and the sewer impact fees are based on size of meters, and they're just established. This committee, what they'll be doing is they'll be actually looking at a study that was performed by our contract engineer, Cobb Finley, and it's very prescribed within statute on how this process will go through. But as part of that study, they've identified all the CIPs within our city, and they're all water or wastewater related fees. The development community, the larger size, I think the makeup of this body is made up of a development group so that you can have those conflicting conversations on if our fees are appropriate. Should they be higher? Should they be lower? The study itself is going to establish the maximum fee that the city can charge. It doesn't mean we have to charge that fee. At the last cycle, when we went through the last cycle of this 5 years ago, actually, council at the time elected to choose a lower fee than what we could collect as a maximum fee so that we stayed within the market of our neighboring communities. And so that was kind of the process that we went through with this.
That's part of the process, is determining the market, what the market will bear. And again, this is a recommending committee to council, so when they make their decision, it comes back to council. Council can change that recommendation.
That's correct. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Question on the study. You said that they did compare other cities around like size, or just?
They do not. So within the study, there's a formula that's created, and through the study process, you take the total of our impact fees, and there's some multipliers and dividers in there, and ultimately it comes up with what the maximum fee can be. I wouldn't get locked in. I mean, this is a conversation you'll have when that engineer actually presents this to council and to the board. It's not apples to apples. So our demand or our requirement for impact fees may be different based on our CIP than another community. So again, you can't get locked into what the market is charging, because our needs may be different than what theirs are. And so, but ultimately, when you come down through, you go through the process, this board will be listening, they'll be going through the process of looking at all the CIP projects, verifying that those projects are legitimate projects, and that the scope of the study actually relates back to what we're doing in our community. And then they'll make recommendations back to you guys based on if they feel that everything was done properly and if those fees are appropriate.
Okay, thank you. Any further discussion? So we have, if not, we have an amendment to vote on. You had something else?
I do, yeah, just additionally to it. So for those that did do the interviews, are we anticipating any other candidates? Because this has been, it's been up for about 3 weeks that we were accepting applications, not naming names or anything, but are we expecting additional candidates to apply? Or are these kind of the people that we're working with?
I believe that there's an increased interest for involvement in our community. And that's why if we were to put aside the conflict of interest, I think that JP would be the better option, because he's new. He's never been on a committee. He's never served. He's tried. He's been passed over. And we already have 2 former council members that we're appointing to this committee. But I do believe that there are other people that would apply, because people want to get involved, and everybody that complains is told, join a committee if you want to get involved.
I'd like to call the question and just vote, please.
Okay, I think we have enough information to vote on the amendment. This is what we're voting on first. The amendment is to add Gary Johnson to the list of 4. All in favor? 4, 5. Guy, Byron, myself, Melanie, Summer opposed. Councilmember Sessom, Councilmember Cervantes. So that's the amended motion to add Mr. Johnson. We now have a list of 5. We're now voting on the main motion to add to. This is our 5 committee members for the new CIP committee. Item 1.1, we already have a motion and a second. All in favor? Are you not opposed?
What was your?
That was the main motion.
The first motion.
The first motion.
The original motion. Okay, yes, so in favor.
Unanimous. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Good conversation. Item 2, presentations. We now have a presentation, item 2.1, from the Bay Area Houston Ballet and Theater, BAHBT, post-event report for hotel occupancy tax agreement. Jill Reason, Executive Director, will make the presentation.
Right? I'm green. Am I good? Yeah. Okay. I so appreciate the opportunity to get to speak with you. There's so many new faces this year, and I love that. That's great. And I am here tonight to do our final presentation on the ballet, and I hope to teach you something that you probably didn't know about us. So it's exciting. We just completed our 50th season, and in the art world, that's a pretty big accomplishment that we're extremely proud of. We had a very busy year, and I want to tell you all about it. As you know, our mission, of course, is to inspire cultural appreciation through the performing arts. But something that you probably don't know is how we do that. Our commitments is that we want to expand diverse communities' awareness of performing arts through exhilarating performances, of course, and through educational programs and collaborative projects. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about that. Okay? Our 50th season, as I just said, that we just completed was a full one. It was great. We had an amazing kickoff at Rocket Park at NASA. We produced Swan Lake. We had our Sugar Plum Fairy Gala, the Nutcracker. We had a 50th celebration gala in January, a golden hour that I'll talk to you about in a minute, and then we completed our season just a few months ago with Oklahoma. So our productions, okay, we got a funky font there. This is supposed to be our 50th season. These are the exhilarating performances I was talking to you about. Amongst those 4 productions, that means we did 37 complete full stage performances at U of H Clear Lake at their Bayou Theater. We did 32 community appearances, and we had an audience of over 18,000. I'm kind of a geek when it comes to this. I know funding is a difficult decision, and I know I want to share with you how it's used and how much we appreciate it. So I'm pretty anal about pie charts and percentages and things like that. They get me excited about it. Our income for last season, I just want to share with you. It's very important that our production is a heavy weight of our income, that it comes in from production. And then our performance, our fundraising, individual donors, and our grants are almost equal. And in the arts, you want that to happen. You want it to be an equal mix, because if you're too much on one side and that goes away, then you're in trouble. So we're really proud that we try to equalize that and keep that consistent. And then with our expenses, again, we want the heavy weight to also be with production, with our artistic staff, which is a staff of course, our artistic directors and our professional dancers. That takes up the next little pie chart of what we do. So that's very important. Okay, so our performances. Could not pick a better thing to do our 50th season other than the most iconic ballet, and that is Swan Lake. And it is the most difficult artistically production, and our team pulled it off beautifully. It was great. We did 4 performances, and I want to share with you that was 1,877 tickets sold. The Nutcracker. We now do 22 performances of the Nutcracker. We used to do 12. We sell out, and we keep getting bigger and bigger. We just take every opportunity of those times. Something a lot of people don't know, 6 of those 22 performances are done for students that come to the theater during the day. We bus them to U of H Clear Lake, and usually I would say 92% of those are Title I students that come free of charge. Robinson Elementary, your school, was one of those students, attendees that came in. So out of that, 2,982 were there, and then we had our Title I students, and then we did 14 public shows with a total of 8,770 attendees for the Nutcracker. Our 50th gala celebration, we did have that this year. We added that because it was our 50th year, and we had 413 attendees for that. We do a mixed rep each year, and around February, we did 4 performances of that. That we did at our studio. We have a studio right down the street that we did this performance. This is where we incorporate lots of contemporary performances as well as classical. And then we finished our season with Oklahoma. Oklahoma was one of the very first musicals that our ballet company did back in the day, Miss Lynette Mason Gregg. That was her choice of first one, so we had to bring it back for our 50th year. And we sold 3,329 tickets for that. It's amazing. Outreach. As I said prior, we did last year 32 public appearances. And if you take a look, we are all over the place. We love getting the arts involved with any fundraiser that's happening, any little thing that goes on. A lot of free events that we do for the community, ballet lessons in the park, golf tournaments, all kinds of things all over the city. And in the city of Seabrook, we love doing fashion shows. We did one at Lakewood Yacht Club. We chamber meetings with one of your past things. Seabrook Celebration. We do lots of photo shoots at Moss Nursery. We love going out there. They don't mind snakes. So we were allowed to bring Cheetah there. She's an 82-pound boa constrictor that we use at times. This past year, we did a birthday party to the arts all over the city. We had 42 restaurants. Many of them were from Seabrook, and there we are at Seabrook Classic Cafe. They donated or they chose a dessert in our honor, and anytime for the month of August last year, if you came in, proceeds from that dessert went back to the ballet, and we were able to do filming at all these restaurants. We promoted them, and they, of course, promoted us. It's that collaboration that we always love. We love to do after parties. We did it at Lakewood, and then we also did our company banquet at Lakewood with all of our company members and their parents in attendance. That was in May. The anniversary celebration at Evelyn Metter Library, we were very proud to dance there and celebrate with them for that occasion. And more things all over. There we are at Lakewood. Tree lightings, that happened. That was during COVID, but you see the little masks. And then some treats to Seabrook back then. Okay, education for the arts, our biggie. Like I said, there's a shot of the Nutcracker. We love to bring the kids in. We get them in. We do a intermission talk about the different props, how tutus are made, point shoes, all of that stuff to get kids really involved, and then meet all the characters at the end. Ballet in the schools back there, that is Robinson Elementary. We went and go in and perform small vignettes and let the students meet our professional dancers, talk with them, do all kinds of fun things with students to get arts back into the schools. Okay, advertising. Big thing, that's what Hot Funding does, is to help us promote the arts in our area, and we're really proud of that. We have billboards, 5 a year, which is for each production, 1 standalone on Highway 3, and then 5 digital ones all the way around town. Bay Area Magazine, The Stroll, lots of publications around the place. Social media, we do try to, it's kind of tiny, you can see. We have a long list of followers on Facebook, Instagram, all of those that we do a post daily that we try to promote what we're doing, promote our partnerships with other people, and we're really proud of that, to get that going. Okay, so how do we track our heads and beds? Big thing that we work really hard on to make this happen. When you go onto our website, these are some screenshots of our website, there's a button when you go to buy a ticket. There's a button that says plan your stay that you click on. Then when you click on that, we highlight the hotels in Seabrook that you can get a direct link to go into to book a room if you need that. Takes you directly to their thing. And then at the end of each performance, we send out a survey to every person that bought a ticket. And this is our results of our survey from last year that's kind of indicative to Seabrook. I will say that only 32% of our surveys were returned. And that's not a high rate. I think I'm better than the Nielsen's, actually. It's not a high rate, but it does help some. But it is important to remember that this does not include everybody. But out of this, these are the questions that we do ask that we go into our grant funding. And in the bottom there, you can see what hotels, one of the questions, did you travel more than 50 miles? And if you did, where did you stay? And they click, these are the ones that we got from Seabrook. So we had 26 rooms from last year. And then basically, we are just so proud of the quality of arts that we can bring to this area. People from all over the world come. We do have one of the things that's not even shown up there. We have an intensive that it just finished over at our studio. We had 4 kids from Vietnam that came over by themselves. The oldest was 15. Had a home that they stayed in, and they Ubered over to the studio every day to be able to train with Nelson Madrigal, who is our artistic director. He's well known all over the world. So we're really proud of that. These are just some quotes of things that back up, not just me saying it, but we're just very proud of 50 years of excellence in keeping it up. And we couldn't have done it without Seabrook and the help that you've done over the years. It's been over 20 years that y'all have been an assistance with the arts to help us grow, to help us be sustainable, even through COVID, all of the things. And we are just so very, very thankful for you. And I'm here today to see if you have questions, and I'm learning as we go, and it's tracking heads and beds is a challenge, and I love taking it on and working with the hotels themselves to see if they can help with this. And then I know this comes up later, but our next season that's about to begin, we're already training for the Legacy Continues. We had big traction for our 50th, and we don't want to lose that. Our 51st season is going to be an amazing one, and that's that. And we'll talk about that in a few weeks, I think. Yes. So I'm here to see if you have any questions for me.
Guy?
I'd first like to congratulate you on your presentation.
Oh, thank
It's
you.
probably one of the better ones with all the data
Oh,
involved, too.
you're
And
sweet. Thank you.
I kind of had trouble not breaking out in an Oklahoma song, but my wife's there, so I didn't do it.
I bet it would be allowed. We could.
Anybody? Angela?
No, it's important. I think Miss Lynette Mesa-Gregg was the founder of our ballet. And when she passed away, I kind of stepped into her spot. Big shoes to fill, if you know Lynette. But she always wanted triple threat dancers, because you can count on both hands the number of prima ballerinas all over the world. There are not many. And she really was insistent that you get classically trained but have contemporary background as well as musical theater. Many of our dancers, if you look on our webpage, we have a distinguished alumni page, they go off to Broadway. Some do professional dancing, but many go on Broadway, and we want to give them that opportunity too. That's why we do musicals.
Angela?
You can tell that you put a lot of heart into it. The shows that I've gone to have been spectacular.
Thank you.
Just wonderful. So I appreciate what you guys do, keeping the arts alive.
We appreciate what you do too. Thank you.
Anybody?
Jill, do you know if the hotels that you're recommending know that you're recommending them?
Yes.
I just want to make sure,
Yes.
because we get feedback that that's not from your organization. I just want to make sure that they knew that you were promoting them. So that's good. Okay, that's all I needed.
I'm glad you asked that, because it's every season I feel that I need to go back, because a lot of time I've been here for a long time. So I take for granted that people do change. You know, I don't get to change, but a lot of people do change roles to go back and to reintroduce that to stuff. And we do rack flyers that we print for each production, and I like to drop those off at hotels too. So it's a good time for me to introduce myself on that aspect and let them know in case they are new. So thank you, Summer. I appreciate that.
Hey, Jill, I just want to say congratulations on the 50th season, and also that you guys should be very proud of the young artists that you have in your program. I know you are. I know a few of them, and they're just amazing, well-rounded young men and women. So
You're very
congratulations.
sweet. Thank you. That is something we really take pride in. It's not just your artistic ability, but being good, well-rounded people. Very important these days.
Jared?
Question, when someone goes from your website and then clicks on that link to takes them to the hotel sites, is there any way you're able to tell if they book from your site or at least how many click from there to at least go to that site?
I can see the clicks, but I cannot tell if they actually got a room.
Okay.
Where the survey comes in,
Awesome.
yeah,
Okay, thank you.
I'll work on that. We're gonna figure it out. It's gotta be a way, right?
It's a continuing struggle. You're not alone. Jane and I attended 3 performances and the gala. We took our grandkids to Nutcracker, so we had a great time this season. Looking forward to next season.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. Appreciate that. Thank you, guys.
Okay. Item 3, public comments. I didn't have any public comments. Did anybody show up who didn't sign in who would like to speak? If not, we'll move on to the next item. Thank you. We have a long agenda. Item 3.1, Mayor, City Council, and/or members of the city staff may make announcements about city or community events. Is that you, Mel?
Yes. Okay, we have the Police Department Snack Drive that's going to take place in partnership with the Bay Area Alliance. The Seabrook Police Department will be collecting individually packaged, shelf-stable snacks to support local students for the 2026-27 school year. Now through Friday, August the 14th, you may drop off your donations in the drop box, which will be located in the Police Department lobby. There's going to be movie night at Meadow Park. The movie to be showing is going to be Goat. So grab your snacks, bring your friends, and get ready for an action-packed night with the Goat. This is going to take place on Saturday, July the 11th from 8:30 to 10:30. 8:30 to 10:30. And finally, we have Scoops and Sirens. Join Seabrook's first responders at the Evelyn Meadow Branch Library for story time. Build your own ice cream sundae and get an up-close look at the police car and fire truck. Taking place on Thursday, July the 16th from 11 a.m. to noon at the library. And that's all we have.
I have, also don't forget July 24th, the fire department and the Seabrook Police Department are having a kickball game at the ball fields on Meyer. So please come out and support your community and support the red team.
Any other announcements?
Yeah, so we were able to go, all of us just about went to the Harris County Mayor and Council Association's Port Boat Ride. We were able to talk to a lot of the leadership at the event. It was one of those events where you come together with your community leaders, and I think that we all kind of took away different relationships that we might not have had had we not attended. So that was a good one. So it's exciting to have a working council that's actually doing things for our city. I love it. The other thing that we went to that we haven't really talked too much about is at Economic Alliance, councilperson, what's your name? Rogers, kidding. And then Mayor Sweeney and I went to a Gulf Coast Protection District. I'm sorry, what? Am I okay? Oh, that one too, yeah. So we did the Gulf Coast Protection District. If you guys haven't looked into what's happening with the Gulf Coast Protection District, I highly recommend it. It's something that I think everybody out here can be affected by, from the Texas Coastal Project that they have to the actual gates that they're looking at engineering. It's a huge project, one of the biggest ones in the nation that's ever been done. So I think that it's something that we should certainly all be aware of, but that was informative. We got to tour the Packwell manufacturing facility. Am I good? Packaging Yep, y'all can talk about that one. And then I also attended a Women in Alliance event with Economic Alliance. All three of those events were put on by Economic Alliance, so that's all I've got.
Awesome. Anything else? Okay, thank you so much. Item 3.2, City Manager Update and Report to City Council on various items that require no action, including Seabrook Parks, boards and commissions, transportation projects, capital projects, and other city projects.
All right, Mayor and Council had a few photos up here. Just as a reminder, Public Affairs has started a gallery of such on the city website of all the events and has some really great pictures, especially of our last event here on the 4th of July. So wanted to include those. Your boards and commissions for upcoming meetings, you've got a joint meeting, busy week actually, joint meeting tomorrow where your Economic Development Corporation along with Council and P&Z will meet for the kickoff for the zoning ordinance update. On your Economic Development Corporation and your Trails Committee, they will both be meeting Thursday. EDC will be looking at the agreement for Spring Hill Marriott for the facade improvement grant of $40,000 and go into a work session for their budget for 26-27. The Parks and Trails Committee will also take up a discussion on capital improvements or CIP projects to bring back further recommendations to City Council before we finalize the budget. On actions, since your last regular City Council meeting, your Planning and Zoning met on the 18th. Action was taken. They had their public hearing on PUD for a multi-tenant distribution center. This will be coming back over to City Council on the 21st. On transportation, there's little information right now coming as far as the progress in the Seabrook section for the 146 project. So I am reaching out to those guys, but didn't receive any further information on additional detours for our section. But further down at Wharton Weems, as you go north, you can see what's going on down there. Harris County, this is the project that we've been following over the railroad removal. That's substantially complete. And then this is a new project I just want to bring back up to the top of the list. So as we've got the rail spur at the north side of town active again, I have reached out. So we did a sound study for a baseline in April of 2024. This is associated with held funds of $1.6 million that were given over by the port. So we've done the baseline sound study. Packwell Warehouse Center behind the berm is the primary user of the rail spur at this point. So the option here was for us, once this became active, to do different sound study, compare it to the baseline, and then begin to move into discussions on options for sound mitigation, if there are any. So again, we've been holding the 1.6, so I just wanted to let you know that this is coming back up. We'll start staging for the sound study option 2, and then we'll be having further discussions. On your CIP, we have Pine Gully Pier officially kicked off. Staff met virtually with the team. We've got the purchase order finalized, and that will allow the contractor to go ahead and start the order for the piles. There's about a 6-week lead time for the piles, the precast, to come in. So they're going to probably wait about 2 to 3 weeks, and then we'll start to see some activity at Pine Gully. Brian and Jesse are working with them. About half of the parking lot, it looks like, will be mobilized. There will be a trailer out there, so that there will be, part of that area will be off limits. On our East Meyer project, a lot's been happening on that. So we are still currently at a 2-way up to Aqua Vista, and then we've got 1-way. They finished the pours on the south side of East Meyer all the way up to North Meyer. The drives now have been poured, so we'll flip over to the north side and do this all the way up to North Meyer as well. This project's still on target and have a duration reaching into early October of this year. EMS and EOC building out at the expansion for the fire department is back and active again. Our new contractor, MCA Construction, is on site. So this is a current picture. There was some additional concrete pouring that needed to happen. And as you can see, that's finished out this week. So getting some activity on that, and we'll have some further updates on that project. On the wastewater plant demolition, we've been reporting that there was some additional contamination of soil dirt that we had to get tested. TCEQs returned that. We are now working on a proposal that will come back over to City Council. There has been a shift in the cubic yards and the way that that has to be disposed. So we will be coming back to City Council with some additional proposal, and there will be some additional funds needed to carry that additional step out. Then we can move on to grading and fill. Bayside Park, the team is continuing to work on the design development presentation. We're still working towards going back over to the Parks and Trails Committee, then working up to a council presentation before all of the construction documents are finalized. And then we are looking and talking with the design team about expanding into it more on the shoreline and working if that needs to be an additional scope. We'll work into construction documents, and then towards the end of the year, we'll be ready for bid on that project. Wildlife Park, this was a recent approval by City Council, so we've gotten the pavilion PO in, and that project is in motion. Pelican Bay Pool, there's a lot of work going on out there. All concrete's been poured, the tiles in. Some of the last things that we'll be working on is the cool deck. Then they'll need to do the plaster in the pools. As you can see in the bottom left-hand corner, the zero entry pool, the playground set has been installed into that pool. And then they've done some refurbishment. We have a splash pad that's just in front of that play set that's now been refurbished. And then they're all targeting about a mid-August completion. On other CIP, this is what we're calling the Rural Street Preventive Maintenance Project. And this predominantly, we've got most of our work going on over in the old Seabrook area. And so we are moving into phase 2. So the spot repairs have been done, and Public Works is working with the contractor. These are some screenshots of notices that will go out to the surrounding impacted property owners. And they will be in doing work on the Monday, the 20th and the 21st for the sealant that will go over the entirety. So we've got Lakewood Yacht Club Drive, 7th Street off of NASA, and then in our old district, we'll have Staples, 4th, 5th, Lidstone, Nicholson, and 7th that will be impacted with this project. North
Gail,
Meyer.
I'm sorry, quick question on that. Lakewood Yacht Club Drive, is that separate from the repaving that we split the cost with them on, like back in 2020, I believe?
Yeah, that work was done, what would that be, just west of that intersection? Yeah, so that was asphalt overlay that was towards the entry gate section over there, right. North Meyer reconstruction project. This is still with the design engineer group, and they're reaching about 70–80% design. And again, this is the project that we recently were announced for a grant partnership with Harris County. We are working on an award resolution, and then there'll be an agreement that goes to Harris County Commissioners Court. So you still have one more step as we get a little bit closer in that process. One slide I did not include, but we did get some communications on today. We've mentioned the boat ramp underneath 146. That project, we did get a brief email that they're already working on a multi-use agreement that will come back over to City Council. So if you recall, the 146 project took the boat ramp out. TxDOT has put that on their letting schedule, and so it looks like we'll let that project in September of this year, but we will have an agreement that will come to council that will be responsible for all maintenance. So that's probably going to be coming in the next couple of months as well, but we're on target for that project as well to be bid before the end of the year. Any questions?
Gail, if you could just pass on to Natalie and the rest of her staff on the great job they did on July 4th. It was a fun event for everyone. Real quick question. So the Pelican that we had for 250, do we know where that's going to be moved to permanently?
We do not. Do you have a suggestion?
Well, I think like the Pelican Path or something like that would be good. But also, like, I think one thing too is I don't think we have a name for it. You know, is that something that maybe we could do, like, you know, like a citywide contest to kind of like figure out someone, like, make a name, unless the city already has a plan in place for it?
250.
250. So I think we kind of be something kind of like, like we did it before, I think for the Pelican pool project years ago. We kind of like did the little citywide contest to, come up with what the name for. I just think that might be a good idea to kind of get more community involvement and things that are happening with our city, so.
Okay, I'll definitely take that back to the team.
Great job to everyone for the event Saturday. It just, if we can have colder temperatures, maybe we can start doing it in like November.
Thank you. Anything else? No?
Regarding Bayside Park, you were going to get me a Phase 2 email for the GLO. I wanted to see if I could talk to them about maybe getting funding for it.
That's one of the bullet points mentioned on that. So the current designers did not envelop the entire shoreline. So we're working on, so we're working on Phase 2 proposal with them. We'll come back to you and/or EDC, talk about that. That would allow them to get a concept or design that we can then attach to a coastal management program, GLO type grant application.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. All right. Item 4, it is 6:45 p.m. We're going to open the specific public hearing. Item 4.1, conduct a public hearing to consider ordinance number 2026-07, amending the Code of Ordinances of the City of Seabrook, Texas, by revising Chapter 18, Buildings and Building Regulations, Division 6, Plumbing, through the creation of Section 18-339, titled Temporary Portable Restroom Units. The proposed amendment establishes regulations governing the permitting, placement, maintenance, and enforcement of temporary portable restroom units for construction sites, public events, residential uses, and certain permanent installations. Sean, you want to update us?
Yeah, I just got a quick report. So just to go through the process, in November of 2025 and April of this year, we had a joint workshop with planning and zoning in this body. During that workshop, during those 2 workshops, we basically came to a conclusion that the base ordinance was acceptable with 3 modifications. The 3 modifications were to revise the removal deadline for temporary restroom facilities following a special event from 24 hours to 48 hours. Add regulations addressing required hand washing facilities. Add provisions requiring the removal of temporary restroom facilities in advance of a storm event. Pursuant to that, I made those modifications, and then I forwarded this to planning and zoning as required by statute to modify an ordinance. At their May 21st meeting, they did recommend approval of the draft ordinance with the modifications that were made. I have the modifications in ordinance form that I can read to you guys, but I did put that in your packet, so if you want to spare being read to, and you've already reviewed that, if you have any questions, I'm here to address those if you have those questions, comments, or concerns.
Any questions for Sean before we open it up? Does anyone from the public like to make a comment about the portable restrooms? No, thank you. Then at this time, we'll close the public hearing at 6:48, and we'll come back to that item, and I'll read it all over again. Item 5, bid awards. Item 5.1, consider and take all appropriate action regarding the award of request for qualifications, RFQ 2026-09, for a financial audit of the 2021 impact fees to Baker Tilly US LLC for an amount not to exceed $25,000, and authorize the city manager to execute the associated contract.
Motion to approve 5.1.
Second.
Councilmember, is that you? Summer, you two sound alike. Okay, Summer makes a motion, Jared seconds. Is there any discussion or questions? And this, of course, has to do with this committee that we just formed. So, hearing none, all in favor? Opposed? None? Unanimous? Thank you. Item 6, consent agenda. I'll read both of these. Item 6.1, approve the minutes of the June 16, 2026 and June 24, 2026 City Council meetings. And item 6.2, correction to the numbering of ordinance 2026-09 passed by City Council on June 16, 2026 to ordinance 2026-16. Do I have a motion?
Motion to approve 6.1 and 6.2.
Summer makes the motion. Do we have a second? Guy makes a second. Thank you. All in favor? Opposed? None? Unanimous? Thank you. Item 7, new business. Item 7.1, Consider and take all appropriate action on the first reading of ordinance 2026-07, amending the Code of Ordinances of the City of Seabrook, Texas by revising Chapter 18, Buildings and Building Regulations, Division 6, Plumbing, and through the creation of Section 18-339 titled Temporary Portable Restroom Units. The proposed amendment establishes regulations governing the permitting, placement, maintenance, and enforcement of temporary portable restroom units for construction sites, public events, residential uses, and certain permanent installations. An ordinance of the City of Seabrook, Texas, amending the Seabrook City Code of Ordinances by revising Chapter 18, Buildings and Building Regulations, Division 6, Plumbing of the Code of Ordinances of the City of Seabrook. Do I have a motion?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Councilmember Session makes the motion.
Second.
That's somewhere again. Melanie, you're going to have to say something so I get your voice in there, yeah. Any discussion? If not, all in favor? Opposed? None? Unanimous? Thank you. Okay, item 7.2, consider and take all appropriate action on the approval of 2026-02 task order with Cobb Finley under the Professional Services Agreement PSA in an amount of $60,650 for an engineering proposal for the Main Street Lift Station Dry Prime Backup System, and authorize the city manager to execute the proposal and associated documents. We have a motion, or we want to hear an explanation first?
Is there an explanation?
Kevin? No, who's going to do that? Brian? Thank you.
So during May, the end of May and June, we had some pretty extreme rainfall events. And with those rainfall events, we saw a large increase of sewer flow in our lift stations around the entire city. We know we have an inflow and infiltration problem. A part of that two-part solution, the first part would be to install a pump at the Main Street lift station to ensure that it does not overflow during those type of rainfall events. The second phase is going to be do a citywide smoke test to locate the locations of where we're getting the inflow and infiltration. This pump system will prevent Main Street from overflowing.
Is this a secondary bypass pump? It will start if there's, you'll be able to manually start it if there's an issue? How's that work?
Yep, so when it's set up, we have 3 pumps currently. The 3 pumps will still be in operation during normal rain events or just normal flow events. If the wet well gets to a certain point, this new pump will kick on and keep that level below overflow.
Can you give everybody an idea of how many, what our general flow is through the system and what it was during that event?
So our normal flow is around 1.5 million gallons per day average. During that event, we reached up to 6.5 million gallons per day. The actual wastewater treatment plant can handle 7.5.
Wow. And that was stormwater infiltrating into the system, a lot of that was?
It's all stormwater. When we have storm surge events, we don't see that. It's only when we get rain events.
Wow.
So there's a big I&I problem.
Okay, and then just for everybody's knowledge, this is the engineering study. When that's finished, depending on what it says, we're going to have to come back for more money for the actual pump system.
Yep.
But that money will come from an existing.
So this fund, Fund 29 that we've talked about, where we started the funds for wastewater relocation, the state infrastructure bill, SB 7, returned 75% of our match on that. So we are very healthy in that, and we're monitoring some of these additional projects. So we are able to fund everything through that. And that's in part of the SB 7 money that came back. And it's eligible, these projects are eligible. It's based on the original definition of the covenants for those debt payments that we're putting that fund into. So maintenance, preventive maintenance is eligible if it's tied to the wastewater or the water system, so.
And then after the smoke test, we'll obviously find some other issues that we'll need to come back and address at the time.
Well, after we do the smoke test for the rest of the city may take about a year and a half.
Wow.
From there, you're going to get projects on the public side and the private side. The public side we can handle through CIPs. The private side may be a little bit more difficult. We'll have to work with code enforcement to kind of tackle those.
The city's been doing a pretty good job last couple of weeks of getting educational information out there about what folks in their homes can look for to help with some of this and not bring their stormwater
water
from
into
their,
the sanitary.
into the system, yeah, like that. Okay, thank you, Brian. Any other questions?
I do have questions. Oh, don't leave yet. So you just thought you were done. So this might be a question for Cobb Finley, but whenever we contracted with them, did they take into consideration the elevation of our manholes that we have? Did they take into consideration
Oh, yeah,
the,
yes.
okay, so here's my 2 cents, okay? A year and a half is too long for a smoke test. Not that that's not correct, just that why can't we look and see if there's holes in, we're testing for leaks in the pipes with a smoke test, correct? Okay, so why can't we do a TV test where we have a camera, do the roto-rooter thing, look for a leak and do both? I would prefer to do both than not do just, and I'm just saying that because.
We can do both. The smoke is the best way because the smoke is actually seeping out of they put the smoke under pressure and you can actually see it coming out of the ground where the issues are. Television, you can televise it, but it's going to be, if you have like a hairline crack, it's going to be hard to see those kind of issues.
You're not going to be able to see cracks?
We can do both. I can get a proposal for both.
I don't know. I'm just throwing this out there because the other thing that's going through my head is if we constructed with one engineering company, I would rather see a third-party person come in and look at everything than have the same person that designed it going back to say, not that they would, just that I would like to have a third party looking at it from a completely just existential perspective.
On the smoke test part?
On the whatever we're contracting for Cobb Finley to look at right here, that I want a third party. That's all I have to say about that.
Jared, did you have, or Byron, what do you?
If it is going to take a year and a half to do it, is there anything we need to do in the interim to make sure we don't have any disruption in service?
So we are currently, if you go by the plant right now, we already have a bypass pump out there. It's not as powerful as the one we're trying to get, but during a rain event, it will reduce the chances of Main Street overflowing.
On Main, at the lift station, there's one there, yeah. Okay, good. And
So, yeah.
we'll use that for a test too, right? I mean, if that doesn't work, then.
Oh, that's a test currently. I'm also, we have a meeting with Cobb Finley tomorrow. I want to get an actual trailer-mounted dry prime pump out there to test it before we even move forward with the contract.
Same type of pump?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay,
Thank you, Brian.
very good, thank you. Anything else? If not, do I have a motion for 7.2? We did one already? Right, yeah, I need a motion.
Make a motion to approve 7.2.
Councilmember Sessom.
I'll second.
Councilmember Hanson makes the second. All in favor? Opposed? Opposed? No? Unanimous, right? You need to raise your hand if you're opposed. 2 opposed. Councilmember Deemer and Councilmember Sanford opposed. Motion carries. Item 7.3, consider and take all appropriate action on a 1-year contract extension agreement between the City of Seabrook and DRC Emergency Services for primary post-disaster debris removal and disposal services and authorize the city manager to execute the contract. This is one of a series of motions here that we're required to have in place by the state for removal for post-disaster services, just so everybody knows what this is.
Motion to approve.
Councilmember Sessa makes a motion to approve. Councilmember
Sanford seconds.
Second. Any discussion? All in favor? Opposed? None? Unanimous? Thank you. Okay, that is 7.3. All right. And that's these are contract extensions of existing contracts. Item 7.4, consider and take all appropriate action on a 1-year contract extension agreement between the City of Seabrook and Ceres Environmental Services, Inc. for secondary debris removal and disposal services and authorize the city manager to execute the contract.
Motion to approve.
Councilmember Sessa makes the motion.
I'll second.
Councilmember Hanson seconds. Any discussion? All in favor? Opposed? None? Unanimous? Thank you. That was 7.4. On item 7.5, consider and take all appropriate action on a 1-year contract extension agreement between the City of Seabrook and True North Emergency Management for debris monitoring services and authorize the city manager to contract.
Motion to approve.
Councilmember Deemer makes a motion to approve. Good.
I'll second.
Councilmember Hanson seconds. Thank you, Jared. Any discussion? All in favor? Opposed? None? Unanimous? Thank you. That was 7.5. This is item 7.6. Consider and take all appropriate action on a 1-year contract extension agreement between the City of Seabrook and Hydra Dry, Inc. for post-disaster restoration and recovery services, and authorize the city manager to execute the contract. Have a motion?
Motion to approve?
Councilmember Hanson makes a motion to approve.
Second.
Councilmember Deemer seconds. Do I have any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor? You had something?
I just wanted to be clear that these are all state mandated contracts and there are no monetary outlay form, correct?
That's correct. There's no retainage or anything. This is only if executed.
Thank you. Anything else? All in favor? Opposed? None? Unanimous? Thank you. That was 7.6. Item 7.7. All right, I think that's all for those items. Item 7.7, consider and take all appropriate action on the ratification of an incentive agreement for a new construction and development grant between Pomodoro's Cucina Italiana LLC and Seabrook Economic Development Corporation for a maximum amount of $850,000.
Motion to approve 7.7.
Councilmember Sanford makes a motion to approve.
Second.
Councilmember Deemer makes a second. Okay, do we have any questions or discussion?
Yeah, can I get more context on this?
Rick, you want to? Just to say that this was grandfathered from prior to the new incentive, so just put that out there.
Good afternoon, Mayor, City Council. What's your question, please?
Just some background on, maybe the history, how long we've been working on this, and this happened before the new incentive program and so forth. And
Yeah, so actually we've been
discussion?
working on this project since, I guess it's been August or so, probably about 9-10 months or so. The project went in front of EDC board back in late 2025. The project was approved. We've been working on negotiating the actual performance agreement over the last few months. David Olson, Gail, and I have been in constant contact with the operator of the restaurant, Pomodoro's, their legal counsel, as well as our legal counsel, David Olson. So we've been working over the last few months to make sure we get this agreement correct, because it's a large amount of money. We want to make sure that the city, the EDC is protected, and that the Pomodoros is able to fund their project as well. So I think we're at a good position right now that we've worked out all the details on both sides of the agreement. And as you can see, the agreement has been accepted and signed by Louis Faridia. So they've accepted the terms. Now, like I said, EDC board has approved it, was approved back then. We were just been working on the particulars, on the details of the agreement. So we should be good to go. The vote is yours to ratify the agreement. That's kind of where we stand at this point.
Okay, great, thank you. Yeah, so a few things, and I just wanted to make sure that I was understanding this is council approving $850,000 today, which is why I just wanted clarity on that, and thank you for the explanation. So I did have a few comments. This amount feels egregious to me based on square footage. It was approved before EDC established new guidelines. I think the guidelines are great. They're safeguards. They protect our money and ensure that we're making the best fiscal decision for our taxpayers as well as our city. We just approved the tap room, which is a new and unique offering to Seabrook. We only approved them $200,000. They're 3,500 square feet, understandably, versus the 5,000 of Pomodoro's, but they have many of the same listed upgrades and features, the concrete flooring and the doors and such. So with that being said, I'd like to make a motion to send this back to EDC to evaluate under the new guidelines and reconsider that amount based on the new guidelines that were put in place to protect our tax money. And just to add one more thing, the EDC budget is $1.4 million, so we're exhausting over half, maybe 2/3 of the EDC budget with just this one build.
May I say something? And just to clarify.
Hang on a second. Let's get
We have a motion and a second on the floor, but We do, but I mean, it doesn't mean that a motion couldn't be made, I guess, to amend that existing motion. We could handle it that way.
I'm making an amended motion to push this back to EDC to review with the new guidelines and safeguards that have been put in place.
Okay, I have an amended motion to move this agreement back to EDC. Is there a second? Hearing no second, the amended motion dies. We're going back to the main motion. Just for background, we discussed this in EDC ad nauseum, and we probably had 6 or 8 discussions, separate discussions about this. Some obviously in executive session having to deal with contracts, some in public. And we made this original, they asked for $1,500,000, right? So the tap room asked for $500,000, but they were already, inside of our new incentive agreement. We, as a corporation, had already made a commitment to Pomodoros back in December prior to this agreement, and we felt as a body that we should stick with the original agreement. That said, we did go back several times and added additional stipulations and performance objectives into the agreement to ensure that the sales tax income, which is the EDC money, is sales tax income that comes from sales tax purchases, not from property taxes, just in case anybody is not aware, that income to the city was protected, and that the contract was based on specific performance requirements, and there are penalties for failure to perform. So one of the last things that we did was we added in a stair-step incentive payment. Of course, these are reimbursements for expenses, right, after the fact. So they have to put up the whole $2.5 million, essentially what the project will cost, and then come back with what we redlined as our agreement, capital improvements, which would stay with the building should something happen to the project. So we're making a capital improvement into the building, not including the developer's infrastructure. The shell has to be built, and the electric and the plumbing and all that stuff. So we felt that we had put enough objectives in here and penalties for failing to, and most of those objectives centered around opening dates, number of employees, full-time, part-time. So we're stair-stepping the payments. We're making a bulk of the payment at CO, and then at year 1, an additional payment at year 2, the final payment with performance objectives for each of those years. So that was some of the new stuff we built into the contract, and we're trying to build that into all of our, just so everybody knows, all of our EDC agreements, so that some of the ball is put back in the business's court. So I really don't think going back to personally, I think EDC is going to come back with the same agreement.
And just for clarification, so there's no proration, right? So what's written in here, they have to have 16 employees, year 1, 19 full-time employees year 2. If they don't reach that guideline, then they don't get anything for that year, correct?
That page.
It's on the last, on Exhibit C.
Item 4, ABC, is the failure on the employment levels?
Yeah.
Correct. So before they get any money, of course, they need to get a CEO, they need to be operational, and they need to perform for 1 year before any kind of payment is done, I believe. And there's some recapture. There's a recapture paragraph in the agreement that if they don't meet the requirements, they don't get the funds. So we just need to make sure that we follow the agreement, make sure they're meeting their thresholds so they can get their reimbursement for their expenses.
And like Mayor said, so they're putting up the 2.5 up front. And then this is solely, the reimbursement of the 850 is as long as they meet the metrics as spelled out in the agreement.
Correct.
Okay.
Yes, they have to be operational, and they'll have to meet those metrics before they get payment.
Okay, thank you.
Guy, are you thinking over there? Did you have something that you?
So part of this money is for the whole shell of the building? It's just for Pomodoros? Okay.
And so they'll be signing a 10-year lease? Did I read that correctly?
They're required to sign a 2-year lease according to this performance agreement.
Okay, thank you.
Take your time. This is important, so ask.
How do we make a motion to put this off till next meeting? I've read it once, but I really would like to read it again before just going all through with it. And I don't think 2 weeks is going to be a killer for anybody on this deal.
Yes.
Okay, so we had a motion to postpone. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay, now we're going to discuss whether, the merits of the postponement. Or just take a vote. Is there discussion about the postponement? No? Okay, so we're going to vote on the motion to postpone. In favor? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Opposed? Councilmember Sanford and myself. Motion to postpone to the next council meeting is passed. Okay, item 7.8. Consider and take appropriate action on approval of Resolution 2026-11 authorizing a Texas Parks and Wildlife application for Bayside Park expansion. I have a motion.
Motion to approve 7.8.
Councilmember Sanford makes a motion.
I'll second.
Councilmember Hanson seconds. Is there any discussion or any questions for Gail? This is the application for the grant for the Bayside Park, which we've discussed before.
Yeah, I just have a question along these same lines, but Gail, I was listening back to some of our budget meeting, and there was a meeting on September 2nd, and there was a statement made that the design firm has a grant partner, and so that week, their grant partner was going to be visiting and determining, so I just wanted to ask you if you had any follow-up or update on that.
So Kara, that you and I met with on the video call, I was under the impression that we sufficed that request with you being able to answer directly to her some of your questions.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
So thank you again for setting that up. It was a great meeting, but this was discussed, and maybe this is a offline, but since I saw this, it reminded me to ask it. In the council meeting on September 2nd, it was stated that the design firm had some kind of funding partner that was going to be coming out to visit, and it was going to happen that week. So, or can you jot that down?
I will. Let me go back and review. We've got another meeting coming up with the design team, so
Okay.
let me find out.
I mean, I'm all about grants, so this is great. I just wanted to get that question out there.
Okay.
Thank you.
Anything else? No? All in favor? We have a motion and a second?
We have a missing.
Oh, sorry, I didn't see her. Didn't see her. Okay. All in favor? Opposed? None? Thank you. One absent. Can I move forward? Okay, thank you. Item 7.9, consider and take all appropriate action on the selection of council liaisons for area organizations. We're missing a council member, so let's see. Where did my, okay, my folder back. Everything.
We signed her up for everything.
Can I have the folder back? Everything went back in there, yeah. Sorry, my list is in the folder.
Can we get that blown up for us older guys over here?
Okay, not that one. Not that one. I apparently lost them. They're not there.
That's really big.
Oh, they're there. All right. Well, we have obviously Tom Tollett and Buddy Hammond are no longer amongst us, so I'll just cross those out. Buddy. All right, so these are council liaison positions to various area organizations like the Barry Houston Economic Partnership, Chamber of Commerce, and so forth. And basically, these are one-year, call them terms, and where you would go to be invited to attend various meetings that are held. Some of the organizations have subcommittees that you could participate in, and sometimes there's a luncheon or something, you know, that sort. But basically, it's to allow the city of Seabrook to be represented in the greater area to some of these organizations that that drive development or otherwise affect funding, perhaps, you know, in the area, or that have funding opportunities that we could be available to us if we knew about them. So I would first like to say that it's a one-year commitment. So don't, you know, it's not like a 5-year thing. So if it's not, you decide you want to do it, and then it's not your thing next year, then you jump back out of it. I would ask though, if you are going to make the commitment, to at least attend a couple of meetings, or try to get them to acknowledge that you're even a member of that, which happened. And then maybe once or twice a year, we'll have a sort of a recap, like Summer does sometimes, and just to see what value we're getting out of the organization and if we're making any progress. And if you are not able to, please don't feel obligated. This is just an opportunity for us to be involved, right? I think as a group, we can really have an impact on Seabrook in the greater area. So that's just a little background from me. So now we need volunteers. We generally pick a liaison and then an alternate. That doesn't mean the alternate can't go to everything also. And the various organizations will start at the top. Galveston Bay Foundation. Tom Tollett is on the board there, so he has always been our liaison, and then Buddy was our alternate. So we definitely need somebody to make their way into that organization. They're obviously helping us, you know, in the area with the Bayside Park, and we want to really keep track of the Galveston Bay Foundation. So do I have any volunteers for that position?
I'll volunteer for the Bay Area Foundation.
For the Galveston Bay Foundation?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Primary, as the primary liaison?
Sure.
I'll be his alternate.
And Jared will be the alternate. Thank you. All right. The Bay Area Houston Economic Partnership?
I'd like the BayHep.
I'd like to keep going to BayHep.
Okay. And Angela, so Buddy, we're taking Buddy out, and we're putting, you want to be the primary? Not that it matters, but yeah. Primary. And Melanie as the secondary. I generally attend those meetings as well, representing either my company or the city. We've been members for 32 years, so there'll always be one of us at one of those meetings.
I was wondering how that works, since it does mention various committees for BayHep, because there was a couple that I was interested in as well.
Yeah, every nonprofit is looking for volunteers. Never be afraid to volunteer.
More than one council person can come to these, right?
Absolutely, yes.
Excellent.
Yes. I'm on 3 of the committees, as I think Summer's on one, Buddy was on one of the committees but never attended, so I've been, and Angela has.
I am on one.
You're on one? Okay. So there are lots of great committees, like for World Cup, they had a committee just for World Cup that was kind of cool, so. And Chief is on the security committee, and so there's lots of opportunities. Bay Area Transportation Partnership, Summer and I have been very active in that, and I'm perfectly fine to stick there if that's.
Same.
Drainage and transportation, very important to us. And then the Clear Lake Area Chamber of Commerce, again, it was the Tom and Buddy show. But I'm on the board of the chamber, so I'm happy to attend, but if someone else wants to volunteer, please do.
I'll volunteer.
Byron, as the liaison? Okay.
Yeah, I don't mind being an alternate for chamber.
And
I've
Angela,
gone to some events.
Alternate,
so.
yeah, okay, good, thank you. All right, next we have the Economic Alliance Port Region.
I'd like to keep that.
Summer has been very active in that. I've attended a couple of meetings. I'm still happy to.
I'd like to be an alternate.
You can be the alternate, and I'll still attend as, you know, mayor on some, if they invite me or whatever. So that's great. Good. Houston Galveston Area Council. So this one is It's across town. This organization spans 13 counties. There's a lot of opportunities. For the small cities, we're considered a small city. There are 2 small city representatives on their board of directors, and they are voted by the member cities. There's also a small city organization meets. There's the Transportation Policy Council. A lot of important stuff happens there, and there's a lot of potential opportunity for grants for Seabrook. But again, it's across town. Typically, their board meetings, not that you would be on the board, but are on Fridays all day. But they have other meetings throughout, so just know that it's a trip if you want to do that. Does anybody, you want to stick
If
with it?
Jared doesn't want to keep it, I'll take it.
You can have it, I'll be your alternate.
Okay.
Or unless Summer wants to.
I was going to be the alternate, but y'all, if you want to take it, go for it. I can go whenever anyway. I don't
Yeah.
care.
Can we, I know like
Do it.
last year I signed up for it and then like I never got anything about
Okay, they still have the old city council as our contacts on it.
Yeah, so I was like, yeah, if I know about when the meetings are, but it was kind of.
The only,
Hey, Byron, Byron, you look like you wanted it. Do you want it?
As an alternate, I'd be,
Okay.
I think there's plenty of opportunity. The only official duty of the liaison for Houston Area Galveston Council is to vote for the slate of the board for the next year. Once a year, that's the official duty. Jared's signature is on this last year. So other than that, like all these, attend meetings, get involved, get our name out there. I think the HDAC also did the Parks Awards, didn't they, Gail? Wasn't that HDAC? So we received an award for the design of Bayside Park. And I would think when we're finished with the project, we'll want to put in again for an award for the actual construction. That happens a lot. So that's very good. Thank you.
Can we talk about HGAC for a second? A little bit more?
What would you like?
Like, what do you want to say?
As long as you don't get off topic, because we're just moving on to.
Okay, we can talk about it later. Whoever ends up in this role, know that a tremendous amount of money comes into that organization, and the people who show up are the ones who get the money. So we haven't had as much of a presence in that, and I want to make sure that we kind of pull together as a group, and somebody's kind of always there so they know Seabrook's in the running. So if we can just kind of come together more on that one, I think, as a team, because it is a haul. I mean, it's more fun to go with somebody else, but it's just, yeah, that's all I want to say.
Yes, a valid point, and I have a project in mind for HDAC, or a grant project. Seabrook Economic Development Corporation, the mayor automatically sits on the corporation, and one other council member is appointed annually. Summer, this is Summer's second year, first year as council member, and 1 year prior as an appointee from council. So either Summer, if she wants to stay, or if somebody else wants to.
I'd like to stay, but.
Around. Okay, Summer it is. Thank you, everyone. I think you got everybody. Okay, Rachel will send out. That's next, yeah. Rachel will send out a follow-up. The meeting dates are on the far right-hand side, and then some of these organizations, Gail will appoint a staff liaison at her discretion. Okay. So I need a motion to approve that slate.
Make a motion to approve the slate.
Councilmember Sisson, approve slate as presented.
second.
Oh,
Councilmember Hanson.
a redhead fight.
And all in favor? Opposed? None, unanimous, thank you. And the next one is item 7.10, consider and take all appropriate action on the selection of members of city council to conduct board interviews for various city boards, commissions, and committees. This is other than, I think, the one that we've already done. So again, Buddy was on Board of Adjustments. He was on Economic Development. He was on Ethics Review. He was on Planning and Zoning. Tom was on Open Spaces and Trails. Does anybody want to stay where they are or move somewhere else?
I'll stay where I'm at.
Since HOT was dissolved, I'd like to be on the planning and zoning,
Planning and Zoning, very good. Okay,
and then I'll stay at open space.
excellent.
I'm happy to drop off planning and zoning if somebody else wants that position, like one of the two good people.
The other planning and
Be good.
zoning.
That'd be good for Guy. He was on Planning and Zoning, yeah. I got it, yeah. Guy, okay. So
But I would
Planning and
like to-
Zoning, Angela and Guy.
I would like to be on Board of Adjustments. Summer.
Jumping over to Board of
Yes.
Adjustments.
I'll stay on
And
that as well.
EDC.
You'll
I'll stay on Board of
stay on?
Adjustment.
Okay, so Summer and Jared on Board of Adjustments. Thank you.
I'll-
And
I'll take EDC,
Summer on
EDC if,
And Melanie on EDC. Everybody okay with that? All right. We love volunteers. Okay. Thank you. Summer, Melanie. We have Ethics Review Commission. That was, Tyler and Buddy both are off, so we need 2 people.
I'll volunteer for ethics.
That would be Byron.
I'll second that.
Is that Jared? Was that you? Is that okay with everybody? Did you want to jump in?
Oh,
Yeah. Jared's quick, so you had your green on, so I didn't think.
Oh,
That's okay. Open Spaces and Trails, I have Angela, and I need a second for Open Spaces and Trails.
I'll second.
That'll be good for you. Yeah, sure. Byron, yeah.
good job, Byron.
Okay, so we have Board of Adjustments, Summer and Jared. EDC, Summer and Melanie. Ethics Review, Byron and Jared. Open Spaces and Trails, Angela and Byron. Planning and Zoning, Angela and Guy. And that covered it, and there's your list. I need a motion.
Motion to approve 7.10.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Sanford. Councilmember Deemer seconds. All in favor? Opposed? None? Unanimous? Thank you. Good job, everybody. Thank you for volunteering. Again. Item 8, old business. 8.1, consider and take all appropriate action on selecting a mayor pro tem for 2026-2027. So the mayor pro tem, just for the audience and for the new members who may not know, the mayor pro tem serves in the mayor's place if the mayor is unable to perform the mayor's duties, whether that is at a city council meeting or maybe out of town, say there's a disaster, and the mayor can't get back in town, the mayor pro tem steps in on that temporary basis and becomes the de facto emergency services director. And his primary job is to stay out of the way of the emergency services team that the city already has in place. I'm already well trained on that. But also to sign the FEMA paperwork and to declare a disaster if there is one. Personally, I look at the mayor pro tem position as a continuity and consistency position, right? So you want the city in a disaster or whatever you want the residents to feel safe and to feel that the city is on the same path that it was the day before the disaster. That's my opinion about it. So I will take volunteers or we will voluntold people with nominations.
I'd like to nominate Summer. She attends all the meetings with the mayor and is right there at everything. And for the things I've attended, the people that I've spoken with speak really highly of Summer and the job that she's doing representing the city and trying to make advancements and improvements.
Okay, let me do it this way. All right, I have Summer and anyone else nominate or volunteer?
I'd like to nominate Jared as the mayor pro tem.
Both of you accept the nomination for the vote? Jared, anybody else? Yes. Yes, thank you, okay. You also get the mayor's salary, so add that to your own.
The double yes.
Yeah, add that to,
Lord.
add that to your own 0, yeah. Okay, so I think what we'll do is show of hands for each of the 2 candidates. Does that sound fair to everybody? I don't know how else to do that, other than a secret vote. We don't want to do that. Okay, so I wrote Summer down first, so show of hands for Summer. 4 for Summer. That leaves 3 for Jared. Sorry, does anybody who abstain? 1, Jared, Guy, and Angela for Jared. And you have the 4 for Summer. Thank you. Okay, so we have a vote of 4 for Summer, 3 for Jared. The vote is for Summer Sanford to be mayor pro tem. I need a motion to accept the vote and a second.
Motion to accept Summer Sanford as mayor pro tem.
Councilmember Deemer makes a motion to accept.
Second.
Councilmember Sessom seconds. All in favor? Opposed? Unanimous? Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Congratulations, Mayor Pro Tem Sanford, and to all the volunteers for the different committees. And again, feel free, if any of you, to go, if you see a subcommittee on one of these organizations that is a hot button for you, please attend, and they'll be happy to have you. All right, we're going to now go to item 9, executive session, item 9.1, conduct a closed session pursuant to Texas Government Code Sections 551.072, deliberate and consider the purchase, exchange, lease, or value of real property located in the city of Seabrook, Texas. It is 7:29, and we will adjourn upstairs, where the snacks are. Upstairs, yeah. Close the executive session at 7:50. We are reopening council at 7:54. There was no business conducted during closed executive session. Item 10, council will reconvene open session for allow for possible action. There was no action. Item 11, routine business. At 11.1, establish future meeting dates and agenda items.
Mayor and council, your next meeting is a special joint meeting tomorrow, July 8th at 6 p.m. here. And the next regular city council meeting is on July 21st. It's scheduled currently for 6 p.m.
I have a question for council on the July 21st meeting. We would like to see if everyone could attend at 5 o'clock instead of 6. We have a pretty packed regular meeting scheduled, and we received confirmation today that the auditors will be ready to make their presentation, and we wanted to allow them to do that at 5 to give us enough time to ask questions and whatnot before our regular meeting, because we are having a
Public hearing.
during the regular meeting at 6.
Good with it?
I guess I'll take a poll.
Oh.
Melanie, good?
I'm good. Approved.
5?
Probably.
Okay, I'm good with it. Byron? Oh, sorry.
More than likely, and I will not make the meeting tomorrow night.
I can work 5 o'clock on the 21st.
Guy? Okay. Thank you. So we'll convene the 21st at 5 p.m. And unless anybody has anything else, hearing no further business, we are adjourned at 7:56. Thank you, everyone. Have a great evening. See you tomorrow.
Yep.